Hey you guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel where I hope you guys stay uplifted, motivate you, and find peace amongst yourself. Oops, sorry, trying to fix the camera. So if you're interested in these type of videos, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up by leaving a like. Make sure you're commenting down below. And make sure you subscribe or turning on your notification bell if it's not on already, as well as follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter at Ty_guidance and on Facebook at Talk to Ty to stay up to date. And all of that information will be down in the description box below. Today is currently, it's about to be 5 o'clock in like 3 minutes p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today is Saturday, October 9th. For those of you who know, you know. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. As you guys can see, I'm comfortable. I need to go ahead and continue the rest of my Saturday by making this video and then taking a shower later or right after I take this video, make this video and get something to eat. But I hope you guys have been enjoying your weekend. I hope you guys have been enjoying the month of October, practicing daily, as well as this weekend, like I said yesterday, Friday. Hope you guys are drinking your water, taking each day for what it is, and practicing daily. So for today's video, we will go over and discuss what does it mean to acknowledge yourself. And before we start this video, for those of you who are new here, welcome or welcome back. Thank you guys so much for having your notifications on. Thank you guys for searching my name and sharing and liking this video. Something that I like to do is use a dictionary, the source, and I've been using my phone's dictionary. And the reason why I like to use a dictionary for my videos is I like to define keywords from the title/topic that I feel like have significant value. And not only do I suggest and advise information from my experience, I like to inform you guys with factual information. So it's not just bias, it's not just my opinion. So the word that I chose to break down for today's video to not only reassure you all, so you guys have a general understanding, but to refresh our minds and educate ourselves when it comes to processing information and understand how the information is going to affect us when it comes to the title/topic. So the word that I chose for the title was the word acknowledge. So for today's video, once again, we will go over and discuss what does it mean to acknowledge yourself. To start today's video, I too need to go ahead and start drinking my water because for today I've been drinking water and I love to drink water, and I need to get back on a water diet, you guys. I used to be a whole vegan out here and only drink water and certain smoothies or like fruit or vegetable juices. I need to start getting back into that. So okay, excuse me, I had some candy. I think that's why I just burped. Sorry you guys, this is my camera is at 20%, so I don't know if that part's gonna be blurred out. But what does it mean to acknowledge yourself? So the word acknowledge, I'm gonna break that down for you guys so we have a better understanding. Acknowledge is when you do something. So to acknowledge is like a verb. So acknowledging means you admit or to accept the existence of the truth. So when you acknowledge something, you recognize the fact or the importance of the quality. So to admit, to accept, to grant, and allow. So the word admit means you're confessing some things to be true or the case that is typically relevant. Accepting means you're giving an affirmative yes to an offer or a proposal to say yes. So grant is when you agree or submit to someone or something that is true. So what does it mean to acknowledge yourself? So knowing that when it comes to acknowledging yourself, you're able to understand and digest and know openly about yourself. I usually don't say but it's okay. It's Saturday. So when it comes to acknowledging yourself, you want to be in tune with yourself. You want to be self-admitted. You want it to have self-acknowledge and be self-aware. So like being self-aware and acknowledging yourself is understanding how you process life, how you perceive life, and how does it affect you. So acknowledging yourself, and what I've realized, what has helped me along my journey for me to make these videos to be so strong and content with what I say and what I do, was learn to, one, realize when it comes to acknowledging myself, to, one, appreciate that, when it comes to growing and when it comes to figuring out who you are, when it comes to healing, that I'm only one person. So I'm talks with Ty, like currently right now I have on a blanket. I have a purpose in life just like I believe everyone else does, and I'm aware of my purpose. I've had something happen to me in my past that confirmed what my purpose was in order for me to be here right now. I'm not going to talk about that when the time is ready. I will, but like when it came to acknowledging myself and for me to confirm that moment in my life, I had to go through certain events in my life, whether they were traumatic or whether they were positive or negative. So when it comes to acknowledging yourself, just being aware of your reality. So understanding where you're from, where you're raised, what your current background is like, what your environment is like, and how it affects you. So acknowledging yourself, you want to realize that you want to be present. So in order for me to learn how to be present, just like anybody in life, I had experience. So understanding that when it comes to acknowledging yourself, it's a process. And then once again, there's no right or wrong way to acknowledge yourself. And this is why on my channel I suggest and advise information from my experience, or I give you guys factual information, because being aware is up to you. It's a choice. Like, you don't have to acknowledge yourself, you don't have to acknowledge others, but like being grateful and appreciating yourself for who you are and what you're capable of has helped me along my journey to realize what was for me and what's not for me. And something that I tell you guys to do most importantly is get a journal, a diary, a notebook, whatever you want to call it, some type of paper and a writing utensil, and learn to express how you feel. Like for me, what I realized, writing down how I feel is really important, because when I've suffered with having anxiety in the past, I had to write down how I feel, because our thoughts are always going to be active. So ever since we are coming out the womb, us being babies, like not knowing that we are a baby, but we know we exist. So like going to school for most people from kindergarten to 12th grade, if you were able to go to school from that time period, realizing that for those amount of days, like 10 months throughout the year, going to school Monday through Friday, like you're only exposed to a level of awareness while our parents are at work. And most people who, depending on your background, depending on where you live, because everyone's not raised the same, it has the same rules, how that has affected you. So I had to acknowledge and realize, how did I go to school? How was I like in school? How was I like when I first lived in certain environments? For me, I lived in 7 different states. I've been outside of the country. I've traveled to 22 different states in America, and I've been outside of the country to more than 8 different states. So realizing what my lifestyle was like, what was my background like, and then the type of parents that I have based off of their ethnicity, like their culture, as well as me realizing, where I was at as a child, as a teenager, up into a young adult, even after high school. So acknowledging yourself, it's just being aware and take your time to learn to be in the present, because we as people are so consumed with everything else. Because once again, I want you to comment down below if you know these 2 things. Like, a lot of people don't know when they were born, and a lot of people don't know when they're not going to be here. Like, as time goes on into your existence, you may or may not know, but like generally we are people. A lot of people, the average person, is just trying to live their best life and be grateful for the opportunities they have been exposed to. That's why I tell you guys to practice every day and be mindful of the decisions that you make, because what I've realized when it comes to acknowledging myself and being aware and growing is understanding where I was, where did I come from, where is my starting line. I believe everyone has a starting line and an ending line, and what I mean by that is the day you were born and the day you're no longer here. Like, there's no age expectancy of life, so you could be 200, 400, 3, 35, 45, 105, 55, 75. There's no age expectancy to life. Everyone's life is going to be based off of the decisions they make. And that's why it's so important to realize what you're doing in your life, the decisions, how they've affected you, and are you willing to learn from them? Like, in order to grow, you must be able to learn, and you must be able to acknowledge that you are not where you want it to be. Like, in order for me to come here now, like I said, and be proud of myself throughout this year, the rest of this month, the rest of this year, and just throughout this last time period within this year, I had to acknowledge where I was. Like 3 years ago, I wasn't the same person that I was today, not because of my mental, not because of physically, but because geographically, like just where I was in life. So understanding that when it comes to acknowledging yourself, learning to be present, learning to accept your reality, controlling yourself, grounding yourself, knowing that nothing and nobody can stop you to get to where you need to be in life. And when it comes to being present, accepting your past, like, it's a process. A lot of people go through things just like me. I've had to suffer, but realizing that your past is a moment that no longer exists. So in order to be in the present, like for example, today is Saturday, in order for me to be in the present, like grounding myself. So like physically looking at things that are in front of me, you know, breathing in, breathing out, you know, surrounding myself with like-minded people. Like for me, this entire year I've been in isolation because I had to remove myself with things that no longer serve me. I used to have some scissors, you guys. I don't have them right now, but usually I would tell you guys, get your scissors and cut off people, places, and things that do not, you know, represent with who you want to come and who you want to be. Because, excuse me, once you learn to acknowledge yourself, you're present of what it is that you want. So another thing I would suggest and advise when it comes to acknowledging yourself and what it doesn't mean is writing down your pros and your cons in your life, or writing down some needs and wants of what you would like to accomplish or what it is you want to learn or grow from. Because in order to heal, like, you have to be willing to accept that you made certain decisions in your life that, you know, may not have been the best for you. And the purpose of life is to learn and to grow. Like, very simple. Like, even though a lot of people like to make it complicated and more than what it needs to be, and that sounds so simple, but it should be much more simpler to me. Like, because we as people are aware of our decisions. Like, a lot of people don't think decisions through. A lot of people do not think of their awareness. They just do certain things, not realizing the consequences from their actions. And I too was young. Like, when I was a young girl, I was like that. My dad used to tell me, like, I was very stubborn or hard-headed. It's not because I just was disobedient and I didn't want to listen. It's just how I retain information. And that's another thing. Some people do not retain the information the same way. So, like, just because you say something to somebody and you may have an understanding, if that person does not understand or is aware or can even acknowledge, like, you know, what has been presented to them, they may learn and, you know, think differently. So it's important to acknowledge yourself, accept, you know, who you are, take your time, not compare yourself to people. I've been very fortunate my entire life where I've never like compared myself to anybody, because before I learned to have a balance with myself, I used to be very analytical, you guys. So I was very always like a logical person. And I've learned as I've gotten older to be, like, for me, a little bit logical and a little bit emotional. Like, it's okay to be vulnerable. That's another reason why I started this channel, is because I needed to learn how to express my emotions and not feel like alone. So being vulnerable, and like, I never compared myself to anybody, because physically I'm like, that's impossible. Like, there is nobody on this earth who looks like me other than the people in my family, and even the people in my family are not me. So it's like, why on earth would I compare myself? Like, I've never been insecure of another woman, a male, a dog. Like, I've never been insecure of anybody. So like, the insecurities that I struggle with, I only had two. I have two things I've ever been insecure about my entire life. And I say this all the time. The first thing is that I had stretch marks. I think you guys already know that. And if you didn't, I used to be insecure because I used to have stretch marks. I mean, I still have them, but like, when I was growing, I didn't know that when your body grows, a stretch mark, a mark that has been stretched. That's the purpose of it. And then the second one that I had, same thing, just based off me. I got into a car accident, and like, I didn't like the alignment of my body, but that's because I didn't realize like I was in critical condition. So like, realizing, you know, understanding who you are, acknowledging yourself. And even for me, once I acknowledge that, okay, like, I have stretch marks because my body grew, like, I learned to embrace it. Like, there are things that, you know, can remove them, but I learned to accept them because I believe in being natural. I don't want to allow society or other people to make me feel not comfortable. And that's why it's so important to acknowledge who you are to me and accept who you are, because you don't want to allow people, places, and things to shape and mold your mentality, because that's the problem that I have right now with the world. It's a lot of controlling, it's a lot of dictating, it's a lot of attachment and labels to people and places who don't deserve that. And what I mean by don't deserve that, it doesn't make sense to me. I think it's very delusional for people to compare themselves or get things done because they feel pressure or because they see other people doing things. I believe if it's not in the kindness of your heart, or if it doesn't align with you, like, you shouldn't have to change for nobody. Being comfortable with yourself, because if you can't accept who you are, you allow somebody or something to say something to you, you may have issues and you may struggle. And that's something I've realized, and I had to acknowledge about myself. Like, I've realized there's a lot of people, because I'm very comfortable with myself, they're not comfortable with themselves, and they would try so hard to project their insecurities on me. You guys, like, people really are out here trying to, you know, because they dislike themselves. And little old me, I'm just like, that sounds personal. But as I've gotten older, not to like judge people or be mean or nasty, because that's what people fail to realize. Like, anybody can be mean, anybody could gossip, anybody could talk badly, anybody can. But for me, I'm, like I said, I'm up in age now, I'm older. I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, and I have my own life, like just how you guys have your own life. So what does it mean to acknowledge yourself? Being aware, being kind to yourself, not being so hard on yourself, okay? Because you are you. So meaning, if you're not happy or satisfied with your life, you gotta make something shake. We gotta make something shake. Like, I wasn't content financially with myself, so I had to make something shake. Like, you have to be willing, and that's what it comes with acknowledging yourself. Like, right now, I know that after this video, I need to go ahead and take a shower because I like to look and smell good. You know, eventually I'm gonna be getting this hair done, okay? Eventually I'll be going to the doctor so I can clear up my skin, because I have kidney issues. That's why my skin looks like problematic. And fun fact for anybody who is having breakout, check out your blood, because your skin is just the surface. It's your blood that causes, you know, your face maybe to break out. I'm not a doctor, but once again, people feel to realize a doctor is just a person who went to school. Like, just because somebody went to school for something doesn't mean that you cannot become a doctor. Like, you know your body more than you know yourself. Like, everything that anybody here on earth is done has been taught. So just because somebody has a certificate doesn't mean that they're the only one, or that they are, like, it's on a high pedestal, like, to validate them, like they're superior. Like, anybody who goes to school to get a degree is just a certification. It's just a validation. That's all the degree is validation. It's not to say that you didn't work hard to do what you had to do, but anybody can learn to do how their hair is if you're willing to. Like, it's a choice. So that's the difference. That's the difference between people that are doctors and do hair. It's like, are you willing to learn how to do hair? Are you willing to go to school for 8 years? And it's not to degrade people, but anybody can do anything that they want to. So it's learning how to acknowledge yourself. Same thing with me. I had to realize that, like, to acknowledge myself, I'd accept what I went through, how it made me feel, and what I didn't, and, you know, what I did want to do. So what does it mean to acknowledge yourself? It means that you're learning to accept yourself. It means that you're able to admit and be aware and take your time and practice, and know that if you're not where you want to be, or if you are where you want to be, that you did certain things in your life to get there. And if not, you have learning and growing. And what I suggest and advise is learning to be grateful, waking up every single day, naming 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for before you start your day, before you plan your day, and taking your time to do things that you want. Like, it's currently 5:15. I didn't, originally want to make this video this late. I woke up early this morning. I usually wake up early anyways, you guys. I'm one of those type of people. Wake up around like 6-7 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna record my video. And then I had candy, and I'm not saying the candy put me to sleep. I could have been tired. It was Saturday. I went to sleep and I woke up. I'm like, oh crap, it's 5 o'clock. Let me go ahead and make this video. Like, don't rush to do things. And when you acknowledge yourself, you do things because you want to. Like, nobody tells me what to do. I'm my own person. And having respect and having boundaries and accepting that if people do not like what I have to say, like, don't watch my channel, don't come to my channel, don't allow negativity or people who you don't want to be like, just because somebody gives you advice, if you do not agree with that person, if you don't want to be, like, learn from that person or surround yourself, don't, you just say thank you. If it doesn't apply, let it apply. And it's the same thing. Like, my subscribers, I know that they appreciate what I have to say, and I appreciate what they have to say. Like, there are people, like I said, the more that my channel grows, who are going to try to project. I mean, I'm not the one to be, projecting, because bibbidi bobbidi boo, I'll spit that back on you, okay? But, like, knowing that in a peaceful way, like, I don't allow anybody to disturb my peace just because they are doubtful, just because they have fears, or just because they're insecurities. That has nothing to do with me. So with that being said, I acknowledge myself. I'm aware of that. I don't let anybody talk to me any type of way, because I don't go on my way talking to people any type of way. I'm very respectful. So knowing that, just acknowledging yourself, that there's only one you want to live your life and do things on your time because it makes you feel good and it's your life. So however you choose however you choose to live your life is on you. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Drink some water, okay? Drink some water if you can. Try to drink 2 cups of water throughout the day. If you are not big on drinking water, drink 2 cups. If not, start with drinking 1 cup when you wake up or when you go to sleep. And if you do 2 cups, drink a cup of water when you wake up, then when you go to sleep. And if you're like me, buy you a pack and go through these bad boys. Once you start to drink water, it's just gonna go through you. Yes, a lot of people are like, when I drink water, I have to use the restroom. That's because you have water inside of you. That's good. That's like being, you know, using the restroom when you have to go number 2. Like, if you didn't, you would die. Okay, you're supposed to urine and go number 2. So practice daily and take your time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Live your life and don't forget to say YOLO. Until next time, you guys. Peace. Peace.